I'm Roswell Royce Laurie, and welcome to Cool Folks Who Love to Bachata. Yeah. Seriously, I love that chick. They go, she claps so fast. She's beautiful. I don't even know if I'm using her face, as part of my promo here. Whoever she is, you know where to reach me. Anyway, I am Roswell Royce Laurie. Yeah, believe it or not, I'm Roswell Royce Laurie. Um, and wow, sorry, I'm just a little exhausted here. It's Monday. I'm here in New York and just doing family stuff. My mom has me going uptown, downtown, midtown, all the way down, and so I'm just like all over the place today. But I'm happy to be here. I'm super happy to be here. Facebook has allowed me to do season number 3 of Live with Roswell with members of Cool Folks Who Love to Bachata from all around the world. Yes. Thank you, Facebook. Thank you, social media. Thank you, everyone. I wanted to do something a little bit more challenging than just have you guys post your stuff and I'm like liking it and loving it. How about you guys go live with me and talk? Tell everyone a little bit more about you guys. I know about you guys, but the world really doesn't. This is your opportunity to shine and promote yourself. Okay? So, a little announcement before Mr. Rod Chata comes live with me. And I just want to let you guys know I'm bad with geography. Okay, Rod, Rod is in California, not Hawaii. Mentally, I think he's in Hawaii, but in reality, he's in California. So, guys, you know, I'm bad with geography. But Mr. Rod Chad is going to come on in a minute, and I'm so proud and honored to have him do this. We ran up a little late because I'm having a bad hair day. my afro is going the wrong direction. It took me a little while to comb it, so you know I like to look somewhat pretty on camera. So, but give me a minute, and Mr. Chata is going to come on. Um, other interviews I'm doing for the fall season. Uh, Enzo from New York is going to join us tomorrow, Wednesday. Hex from Miami is tomorrow. Danielle Collins is Thursday. And then we got a lineup of beautiful women. Helene is coming on in October. We got Janet. We got Kimberly Dance. We got a whole bunch of people. Fanny Salsa. Oh God, Fanny Salsa. But anyway, I'm happy to be here and I'm happy to be doing this. Okay. Um, a lot of quick announcements. I'm going to be here in New York City, the metropolitan area, for a couple more months. Then I'm coming back down south to hang out with cool folks who love the bachata for the winter. So, guys, Georgia, Florida, I'll be back soon. Okay. So, okay. Okay. So let me bring out Mr. Chata because I know, he has a lot of important stuff to do. So, okay. And check out his beautiful hat. Okay. Um, Wow. And check out his smile. He has a cool smile. Look at that. I just told him a few minutes ago that he looks like one of these cool guys from Brooklyn. Like you like look at him like, don't mess with me, don't go there. He has that look, but when you talk to him,
Really?
he's like so sweet. You
Such a
know,
nice guy, man.
he's a nice guy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There we go. Rod, please tell everyone a little bit more about you.
Well, my name, the people know me as Rod Chata. This is when I started teaching and promoting bachata. I've been doing, let's just say that I began teaching bachata since 1997. Um, that's when I think there were just five, six of us in the world that were teaching bachata. And this is minus the Dominican community because at that time, there were no Dominicans, even in the Dominican Republic for that matter, teaches bachata because they didn't know that it's going to be a big one. So I was one of the ones. So I did that. I'm the first guy to ever organize a bachata festival in the USA. That was in 2009. It's called Reno Bachata Festival, followed by San Francisco Bachata Festival. Those two are interlinked because San Francisco Bachata Festival was the original plan, but we kind of got scared. And so we did Reno first. Let's do it in a town where nobody has ever heard of it. No offense, Reno people. And then when we did that, it was like 150 people from all over the world, not local, from all over the world. And that's when we confirmed that the original plan, which was San Francisco Bachata Festival in 2009 in July, is to be held. And we had like probably, God, 500 people from all over the world. All the names there that that are big names now were there. And at that time, there were nobody. I was a nobody I also. So, it goes to show of what you do in life. But before I did bachata, I did salsa. I had a website. And at that time, it was a forum type of website. We might as well call it Facebook at the time. It's called salsagang.com. And what I did, because the story behind that is I was just beginning in salsa and I went to a club called Cafe Kokomo and I was not confident because I was a beginner, man. I don't even know how to ask a woman, but I took a risk. So I asked this mujer to dance, and then she looked at me up and down and said no. and
Wow.
so and then I did that the second time. I was like, maybe I wasn't her type. So I did that again, and she looked up and down and said no, because most of the Latinos are 80%. And at that time, Asians were not really popular going into a salsa club. And so I said, you know what? Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna build a group, a bunch of diverse group. I'm going to get all of their email addresses. I'm going to go to dance classes. I'm going to go get all of their email addresses. By the time it's about 50 people, I'm going to email all of them where we're going to the clubs. And so we did that. Every time we go to a club, we come in numbers. So the club owners and the promoters respected us, even give us VIP table. And that's how Salsa Gang started. It was very opinionated. If somebody was not playing bachata, we called them out, especially DJs. And at that time, DJs didn't know what bachata is. We request bachata, they play merengue, and so yeah, they get it the next day because we posted, oh, DJ Carlos or something, he didn't want bachata, he didn't want to play bachata, and they get canceled. You think that the cancel culture exists now?
Mhm, mhm. Right,
Back
right.
then already was. So that's my little story, guys. I started teaching salsa first. Ballroom was my background, and then salsa. And then I got into bachata. And then my bachata at that time was kind of sensual ish, fusion, salsa ish, because that was the background that I knew how to incorporate it with bachata. Not until I made a trip to the Dominican Republic. And after that, the rest is history. My whole outlook in bachata as a whole has changed, and that's what I promote.
DR, I'm so like, dying to go there, I
Sure.
mean, I just had this talk last week with one of the guests, the conversations like, Russell, what's up with this? Kufos left the bachata. You didn't go to DR yet. What's your problem? I don't know. I want to go with someone that's gonna hold my hand and walk with me and take me to the beach and all that stuff. And,
Well,
juice
that,
and
that could be a good thing.
yeah, I want to go. I want to go. And social media, I'll be honest with you, Rod. Social media is on my back. They're like, Roswell, I mean, come on, bro. I mean, you gotta go. I will. I will. Just gotta work up the courage
Yeah,
and
even if you could just go one time, you should, because it will change your outlook in the culture.
yeah. I guess I think my problem is that I'm a little timid because like I don't really speak like any. I just don't like English and I'm a little shy. When I'm around people that I don't really know that well, and so I don't look shy now, but trust me, I am shy. But tell me, when your first time in DR, how has it encouraged you, you know, to become a more successful than you already are? Like how that's a big change. We're not talking about coming just to New York or Miami. We're talking about DR. So when you went for the first time, I'm sure you had all these expectations in your head, what you're going to do, where you're going to go, and then when you come back, half of those were met, half of those were not. So the impact. Let's talk about that. The impact that captivated you when you were in DR, like what did you learn? These trips to me, I would imagine is a learning experience. So how did it not change? That's a strong word, but how did it encourage you to grow a little bit more to make you where you are right now? Like how has it influenced you, Rod? I mean, how has that trip to first time to DR, you know, changed you? Can you tell us
Well,
a little bit?
I've been to DR, specifically Santo Domingo, many times as a
Mhm.
vacay.
Okay, okay,
Punta Cana as a vacay, and at
okay.
that time I didn't know what bachata was.
Mhm.
Um, then the very first went to the Dominican Republic, where I already knew bachata. I was already dancing it. Well, that was an eye opener because everybody in DR, at least the few that I've seen, because when you go to DR, a lot of people expect. I don't know now though. I don't know now, Roswell, because when I
Mhm.
went to DR, knowing bachata already, no one was dancing bachata there. Uh,
Mhm.
you go to a club, no one was playing bachata. They play either reggaeton, merengue, dembow, kind of like reggaeton-ish also.
Mhm.
But that's pretty much it. If they ever play bachata, it would be just one. But there's no bachata party, there was no bachata school, so you really don't know or didn't know where to go unless you know anyone locally where they actually take you to the barrios. When
Mhm.
they take you to the barrios, we're talking about certain clubs that are outdoor, and and the streets are pitch dark.
Mhm.
Only the club is lighting. So any tourist would be so scared to go there unless they know somebody local that would take them there. But the very first time I danced with a Dominicana, I usually go to the left first when you lead a dance, right?
Mhm.
Well, not only I went to the left, she was right there. I left her there. I was to the left already. She was still put there dancing bachata, and she did not follow me at all. It's like, oh, okay, I guess I'm gonna go to her beat. And I did that. Later did I know that 60% of the time when you dance with the mujeres in Dominican Republic, they actually do dictate the beat and you
Oh,
just follow. If you didn't know that, now you know.
yeah.
And they dance on different timing. They didn't dance on one at all, you know. So,
Wow.
oh no, eye opener. So
I always
that's
thought it was one. Seriously, I always thought it was one all these years.
that's the ballroom rule, and that's how we learn in the Western world. It's always going to be one, and the lead always starts with the left. Not in Dominican Republic. There are no rules. You start on right foot, it doesn't matter. You start on two if you want, it doesn't matter. But
Okay.
that was then, and you know, I began to love the music. The music is a little different because not only they play some classical and then they play some modern at that time. What was modern? We're talking Aventura. We're talking Monchi and Alexandra. And at that time that was considered modern bachata already.
Okay.
You're talking Obsession song and Dos Locos by by Monchi and Alexandra. Now if we look at back at those songs, we call them traditional, but at
Okay.
that time it was modern. So it really evolved. I changed my whole outlook. I went back to United States and said, you know what, this is what I feel when I dance it. I feel it, I feel good. I feel strange when I dance the other style, on which in my opinion 80% of the time I just made shit up. Forgive my language. uh, uh, According to my dance background, whether it was salsa or ballroom, at that matter. Because when we started bachata, and I'm talking about like 6, 7 of us in the world at that time, we didn't know what we were doing. All we know is that for some reason, people are starting to like bachata, and so therefore, like, let's teach it. Let's teach it the way we know how. And when I went to the Dominican Republic, it changed the whole outlook of bachata and my respect of how it began and the culture. That's how I changed the style, and that's how I prefer. With the traditional style is my style now. That's not saying that I'm not a social dancer, because as a social dancer, Roswell, you have to know everything. What if somebody asks you, "Hey, would you like to dance merengue?" "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know how to dance it." That's rude. "Would you like to dance bachata?" "I'm sorry, I can't body roll." That's also rude. So as a social dancer, you need to be able to dance everything. You don't need to master everything. I prefer traditional. And if you find me at any dance congresses or dance festival and there are two bachata rooms, I'm in the traditional room all night.
You're gonna
So
get so
that's how
mad
I
at
see it.
me. You're
Yeah.
gonna get so mad at me. Guess what? You're gonna get so mad at me. I don't know. The only dance I know is bachata. But you know me. Just 2 days ago, I was at a big event in New York City. This beautiful chick, man. She comes up to me and I said no. She's like, "What? You said no to?" I'm not. Look, I'm not saying no to your beauty. I'm just saying no to salsa. I don't know how to salsa.
You
She's
just
like,
really don't know. Yeah, yeah.
and then I tell her about I'm cool man who loves the bachata. She didn't believe me because I'm like, I'm telling you, I'm cool man who loves the bachata. But she's like, but you don't salsa, so you have to know salsa in order to bachata. I'm like, I'm an exception. So she's like, this guy's up to games. And you know what happened? She just walked away. So I'm embarrassed. It's true what you say. I mean, you know, so especially
Come
when
on,
somebody doesn't
Roswell.
know.
I think that you just went to a congress. There are so many workshops there where you could learn all kinds of dancing, which is
Uh,
that's the very reason, man.
wait. I did go to my first. Okay, check this out. Okay, I'm
Uh,
saying this. Everyone knows it. The New York's International Salsa Congress was Labor Day weekend. Okay, hear me out. Wait. Hear me out. I did go and I said I'm there. I even had videos and stuff. But guess where I was hiding out?
Bachata room.
Yes. And everyone was like, Russell, we didn't see you. All my friends were like, Russell, we didn't see you in the dance. I'm like, I was there, but not where you think I was. I was
Yeah.
like, so I'm sorry. I mean, it's just, I don't know what's my problem.
No,
Maybe
I,
it's
I don't. I don't
psychological.
blame you because I stay in the bachata room too. So,
I don't know, bachata, I feel like I can get away with stuff. And, salsa is
oh
like you gotta like
yeah,
follow directions and listen to what the professor is saying. And bachata is like I don't know, I can screw up and no one will know anything.
yeah.
So, I don't know. I just got to work and up, being open to different stuff. But you are open. you just said it, like, you saw the ballroom, the salsa, and that's good because you put yourself out there and
You
you
got to
make
be
yourself more
versatile.
known. You make yourself more known and more professional, and
Yeah.
not like Roswell shy. You're open, so that's good. And women like that. Trust me, women like that. But let me ask you this, bro, sir, sorry. Um, Let me ask you this. 1997 is that's a long 1990 Dynasty, no, Dynasty Dallas. Yeah, I was watching Dallas and Dynasty back then. No, Melrose Place. I'm sorry. Oh, bro, I'm getting it. Now everyone knows my age. Okay, Melrose Place back. Okay, 2023. Things have changed. Bachata has exploded. Like our friend, like last week, Armando, and when the interviews last week, they're telling us how people in China and Australia, this bachata thing has exploded. It's not only a Latin thing. It's you got Russians, you got Ukrainians, everyone, Filipino. This bachata stuff is loved by everyone, and you don't need to speak the Spanish to understand it. You love it. You are witness. 1997, bro. I just started to do this like a few years ago. 1997. You're a witness. You said you had five or six of colleagues of yours.
Oh
How
yeah.
has things dramatically um, changed since 1997? How? What do you? Before you answer that question, I'll answer this also. What do you think influenced that growth and influenced that change? Now, let me remind you, there's so many dances out there. You got disco, you got pop, you got this, but all of a sudden bachata, and you just said bachata, even when you were in DR, it's like this, and then all of a sudden, dang, it's like this.
Yeah.
So what encouraged that?
Well, back then, I told you there were no um, bachata lessons or bachata classes locally.
Right.
So, but we're talking about Jorge Elizondo, Tony Lara, me, Rod Chata, Nestor Manuel in Australia, Juan
Mhm,
Ruiz in Australia.
mhm.
There's another couple in Europe. I think it was, God, I forgot his name. He's the one who really coined and created modern bachata. Well,
Oh,
it's kind of like salchata, as they used
okay,
to call it.
okay.
Um, um, and we were the one who was teaching all over the world. In fact, Jorge Elizondo, he took it upon himself to just rent studios wherever he goes and promote bachata.
Okay.
Yeah, nobody invited him. He invited himself, man. And you know what? He's very proud of that. And you know what? I'm very proud of him doing that.
Mhm,
What changed? Two things, in my opinion, two things. The music, it ever evolving,
mhm,
and dance festivals. Now, I know people will disagree with me, but for me, starting in 1997, well, actually, I started bachata at 1995. I started teaching at 1997.
gotcha.
So, me watching this, if it wasn't for the music, namely Aventura, that record, that album that says we broke the rules,
Mhm,
dude, that was like one of those evolutionary type where they call it urban bachata. But at that, if you look at that album now, it doesn't sound urban. It sounds traditional, right? But
mhm,
uh, so that music, that song Obsession was really popular. My God, it was going all over the place. And then the studios slowly started hosting teachers like us, teaching it. And then one time, and at that time there was MySpace and the early ages of Facebook. Okay.
mhm.
Uh, Nestor and Juan Ruiz had this idea to do a bachata festival, the very first bachata festival in the world. That was in Sydney, Australia in 2008. Yeah. And I said, when I saw that, I was like, dude, I'm in.
Yeah.
I taught at the first bachata festival in the world, and then when I witnessed that, Roswell was like, you know, I think I want to do this in the United States. And I told certain people, business partners, business friends that I have, I was like, shouldn't you do a focus group? You remember focus group, Roswell?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Shouldn't you do a focus group first with whether people will be interested? Oh, they're not going to be interested. we're just gonna do this and make them fall in love with bachata.
Mhm.
So I said, Jorge, I want to do a festival in the USA, the first one.
Mhm.
If you're in, that's good. If you're not, that's okay. Juan Ruiz is coming. We might as well do a bachata thing. And so, okay, let's do it. I don't really like the idea, but let's do it. He said, okay. So we planned San Francisco, and I had a second thought. I was like, what if it doesn't work? Let me
Mhm.
do Reno first. So I called a guy named Bibi.
Mhm.
Bibi is the organizer now of Reno Latin Dance Fest. Mind you, we did the Reno Bachata Festival was Bibi, Jorge Elizondo, and me.
Mhm.
I told Bibi, we're going to do a trial Bachata Festival there in Reno. Join us. I was like, okay, I'm in. That's when we did it. And after that, the year 2009 Roswell, I'd say 2008, just a little bit in Australia, but then it took United States to do it in 2009 to explode because the reason I say music and the reason I say festival is because it works this way. Not only the radio's playing it, and not too many radio stations played bachata. Okay, at that time there was a radio thing called La Calle,
Mhm.
and they would play two bachatas after all of the other Latin rock music.
Mhm.
So when you have a festival and you have this music that just came out, whether it's Obsession or whether it's Manchi and Alexandra or whether even the classics, with Anthony Santos, the teachers that teaches the workshop at a certain festival, they play their favorite
Right.
music that just came out, and then the students then they'll take it. Hey Juan, what was the song you were playing? Okay, so can you send me a link? Oh, where should I get it? And at that time, the instructors, because of that, they were doing mixtapes or mix CDs to sell. Boy,
Mhm.
they made a lot of money just to sell music
Uh-huh.
because again, it was not popular.
Right, right.
After that, after the festivals, the year 2010, that's when it exploded, Roswell. It exploded like freaking crazy. Because if you look at it now,
Uh-huh.
what? We have Bachata Festival every weekend all over the world.
Yes.
Who would have thought of
Yes.
that? A
Yeah.
dance that was looked down upon, that nobody liked, especially salseros. Yes, salsa dancers, you know who you are. Back then, you didn't like bachata. Now you do because you're making money out of it. Eh,
Mhm.
that's all I'm saying. But
Right, right.
now even Salsa Congress added bachata. I cannot tell you how many promoters that tells me I will never add bachata at my festival. Well, look at it now. Every Salsa Congress adds bachata, not only in the title. If it's not added in the title,
Mhm.
they have a bachata room.
That's true.
So
That's true.
it exploded and it's beating the hell out of salsa. Now, we can't say that politically, but it's growing. Salsa right now, in my humble opinion, because I started with salsa, is on a plateau. It's not growing. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
It's not dying. Don't get me
Mhm.
wrong. It's not dying, but it's not growing either. It's on a plateau. But bachata,
Mhm.
holy moly, it's growing. I mean,
Yeah.
even you got interested with it.
It's growing, bro. You got modern, you have urban, you have, like, that's a good question. What else do we have, or what else is coming up with regards to the, I mean, urban, modern? I mean, is there a bachata, name you think that could be coming up now that it's
Well,
emerging?
there is a thing called trap chata, and a lot of people are making fun of it, and it didn't really materialize. And in the early 2000s, there's a style called bachatango, and it got popularized for like 2 years, and that started by Camille and Jorge Elizondo, by the way. Camille Yanantuono, which is my former partner, we
Mhm.
traveled to Europe for 3 years teaching bachata back then.
Okay.
Um, I don't see anything else coming up. I know Central Bachata is there and it's really derived from Zouk if you think about it, because of the style, the circular and the body rolls and the waves and all of that. The majority of it is Zouk techniques. But who knows what we could come up with, because different generations have different styles, different tastes. So um, one thing I like about bachata, Roswell, I know there's like
Mhm.
purists there, there's the
Mhm.
traditionalist, there's the modernist, there's a sensualist. There are certain percentage of them, like
Mhm.
10%, 20%, they're very, very draconians, right? They're very
Mhm.
draconians about only sensual, only traditional. And then there are majority where it's like, this evolution is great. Why? Because we're growing. And now we have choices. Everybody, Roswell, even you, take your own coffee different than mine. It's the same thing in dance. I used to be a proponent of traditional bachata, meaning, hey
Mhm.
guys, this is bachata. So why are you guys dancing different style and it doesn't even relate to bachata? You know,
Mhm.
I used to be that. I matured a little bit and calmed down. It's like, wait a minute. Okay, I cannot stop people from liking something else that I don't like. What if they like coffee with milk? I'm okay with that. I only like black coffee. That's okay. That's my own thing. But
Mhm.
guess what? All of these coffee drinkers, quote unquote, all of these coffee drinkers get to hang out in one place. And you know what? They get to experiment what black coffee is like, what coffee with milk is like. That's the reason the bachata community is growing, because of this, because of the diversity. Without diversity, there is no growth. If traditional bachata stayed as it is,
Mhm.
they're just gonna have 50 people, man. So for me, as I evolved in this outlook in the dance, I
Mhm.
do appreciate all style. Now, don't get me wrong, I still prefer traditional. I'm gonna stay in that room, you know.
Mhm.
But if you notice, when I organize festival, I have two rooms of bachata
Mm. Okay.
to welcome every style so that we can learn from each other.
That's
But did I tell you
great.
about being social dancer, being multidimensional? That's the reason.
That's interesting. I didn't think about that. Hmm. So let me ask you this then. You mentioned like you started with ballroom, right? And before you got into the love of
That's it.
bachata, before you got into love of bachata, you were a professional in other dances, like like ballroom and stuff. So the thing with me, check this out, bro. I mean, sir. I keep calling you bro. You might be a Brooklyn,
No, it's okay, man.
sir. Sir.
You know, I'm
Um,
only 21
before
years old. Come on, don't call me.
before uh every time when a guy wears a hat and he wears like a hoodie stuff and the hair, it makes him look like at least 10 years younger than what his age is. So yeah. So before I got into the bachata stuff, I used to do tango in Boston.
Nice.
Okay, check this out. This is how
Argentine?
this is how cool folks who love the bachata became cool folks who love the bachata, not tango
Yeah.
or whatever. Okay, check this out. When I did my master's, I said to myself, I want to do something creative now. I'm done, I finished with school and blah, blah, blah. And then I entered the arts, 'cause when I was younger, I always wanted to do something creative. I was a creative person. But because, my parents, they were always like, Roswell, no, no dancing, no drawing. I was like, you're going to go to law, medical school, business school. Okay. Okay. So, but deep in my heart, bro, sir, I knew I had a thing for arts, you know? So I started out finally doing what I love to do, not like to do, but love to do, and that's dance. So I started out with ballroom dance. It felt a little too ballroomish. It wasn't me. It felt I don't know. It was too formal. And then I started doing tango in Boston,
Mm,
and I don't know. I felt like I was in France or whatever, and I don't know. I felt half naked or something dancing. I don't know. I just felt little weird, I'm like,
yeah.
especially with the rose in the mouth, and I'm like, no, that's not me. It's not Roswell. Then bachata came along, right out of the blues. My first dancing class was in New York City, and what a great place to begin learning to bachata in New
Oh, yeah,
York.
for sure.
So when I walked in for my first audition, um, this was a few years ago. the instructor asked me, do I know what I'm doing or have I heard about it? I said, yeah. I watched a lot of this young kid when Prince Royce first started up. I'm like, I know this kid. He has the same name as mine, but I'm not really Dominican. My name is Royce, but it's not. So he's like, what are you doing here? He's like, I have a lot of stuff to do, man. Sir, what are you doing here? He's asking. I'm like, well, I want to learn to dance. He's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. So I had my first dance class, and he was like, you, Roswell, you got to follow directions. You got to go with the flow. You got to differentiate what's a leader, what's a follower, and stuff. Yeah, you know how New York is. They grind you like in the
Oh
middle
yeah,
of everything. I'm like, oh, wait, I'm not coming back. And I came back a week later. Then I came back, and blah 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 blah. And the rest is history.
got addicted to
So
it.
my point to you and everyone else is that I learned to appreciate what I love, right? Not, I mean, as you know, you just don't love something, and because you have nothing else to love, when you appreciate something, Mr. Chata, you begin to love it, right? So I began to love what I was doing. There's nothing wrong with tango and cha-cha and salsa and all that stuff that I tried before, but I didn't really have an appreciation for what I was doing. I was just doing it because, hey, it's just a dance. But bachata, I learned it, and let me remind everyone, I don't speak the language, but I still loved it from here. So I think that's one of the reasons I'm still with it is because I learn it from here, and it's not something that I could understand or the words, and that's what makes it challenging for me, and that's the reason I love it. So what I wanted to ask you is that how did you, and you kind of answered it a couple of minutes ago, how did you go, why are you not doing ballroom dancing like right now? Like why do you the Reno and San Francisco, or maybe you are, I don't know, maybe you are doing it on the side, I don't know, but why have you, or are you, why is 99% of your focus is on bachata and not other stuff that you used to do? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
is it
yeah.
because I don't know. It's because you just love it more and stuff. I don't know, but how come how come you were able to go this path and not those other paths that you started? I'm just curious. That's all. I'm just curious.
Well, you know the story with when it comes to falling in love, right? So
Yeah.
you start a relationship with a certain woman, and then you guys get married, whatever. You have a relationship, and then all of a sudden you met this other woman. For some reason, it's a different feeling,
Okay.
and for some reason, all the feelings is right. You fit together. It's like, whoa, this is a different feeling right here. This is exactly what I felt about ballroom. This is exactly what I felt about salsa. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I love salsa. Yes, I love ballroom due to the fact that I started in ballroom. That's my foundation.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like ballroom for its strictness, rules. I don't like rules. I don't like being following the syllabus.
Mm-hmm.
If you when you start in ballroom, you got bronze level, you got silver level, you got gold level, and that gold level, silver level, you're almost like a pro, you know. And you have certain rules when you compete on those level. You have to do certain moves, and those are the only moves you can do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that. So when I saw salsa, I was like, oh, wow, look at this teacher. Look at what he's doing and doing hairbrush and all of that, and he can get away with it. It's like, well, I want to do that too. And so I did that, hairbrushing and all of that stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
learned salsa. I got out of ballroom. I liked salsa because I felt more free
Mm-hmm.
and I felt good about it. But then when I got introduced to bachata, the feeling is different. I'm much more emotional. I'm much more connected to
Mm-hmm.
bachata, even though Roswell, like you,
Mm-hmm.
my Spanish is not that good.
Okay.
you know, my
Okay.
but it's not whether you understand it or not. It's how you interpret the music and how you feel about it. And so, in other words, Roswell, I'm sorry, I had to divorce the other woman. I had to go with this other woman, and that's what I feel about bachata.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. That I respect that. I mean, it's. every time I ask a question to the guest that goes live with me, I respect the response because everyone is unique in their responses and it's coming from the heart. I want to say something real quick, Mr. Chada. I'm happy that you mentioned that. Like these interviews that I do with everyone, as you can, I mean, it's not rehearsed as most people know.
I
I
love
don't.
it.
I just pop in, and then you guys pop in. I'm like, okay,
I
this is
don't
what
like
we need to do.
script, as you know.
Yeah, and I'm happy you said you don't like the planning stuff because
Yeah,
as everyone knows, I'm bad with planning. I'm bad, and it's good. There's nothing wrong with that. Like it works for some people, it doesn't work for some. Maybe if this
yeah,
was like a big television studio in New York City, 9 o'clock
yeah.
is 9 o'clock, and you got to rehearse and blah blah. But I like to go with the flow stuff. I don't know. I grew up with Oprah. I don't know if you guys remember like Oprah Winfrey, Barbara Walters. I grew up, I'm old school, and I noticed like how they did stuff. I mean, they practice and they have time to meet, but it did get intense and emotional based upon the questions they were asking and the responses from their guests. That's what I like to accomplish. I like to, plan, but not too plan because it's just not me. And I'm happy you said about what you just said that the rules and certain stuff you don't it's not working for you or you're not cool with that stuff. But I could relate to you.
I
You
mean,
know
it's
what
the
I'm
same
saying?
thing,
Because
Russell. When
yeah,
everybody told me do focus group first. No, we're just gonna make them love each other. You
here we
know?
go.
Yeah. No.
Here we go. There we go. Happy you said that. That's the reason Facebook yells at me every day for talking to you guys until like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning. They're like, Russell, but don't these people have anything to do but to talk to him? Like, no, they don't.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
response. I'm like, no, they love talking to me. So what's the problem, guys? you know,
Yeah.
but uh, but okay, but I'm happy you said that. I just wanted to say that. Okay, so okay, so you are organizing an event, a big event, right?
Yeah.
Um, and it takes a lot of time to do that, right? A lot of effort, a lot of commitment, a lot of love. You got to be on time. You got to know about legal stuff. Got to advertisement and stuff. So, so tell me something. When you're when you're planning an event like a big event, maybe like a weekend or even a congress or whatever, how much time? And remember, I'm not an organizer. I look like an organizer, but I'm not. How much time and effort, and what are some challenges that comes up when you plan one of those big stuff? Like for example, COVID happened, and a lot of people have to bring people from Spain and Australia and whatever, and then COVID happened, and they get a phone call like the day before from these big artists, like we can't come anymore, we're sick, or we have visa problem, and then there you are, you advertise their beautiful picture, all these people paying lots of money to come see them, then you have to go on social media or whatever and tell them, guess what, they ain't coming no more. So that's what I would like to know specifically. When stuff like that happens, man, how how do you, as a professional organizer, I mean, how do you handle like stuff like that? How do you keep things on track? So you're being honest, to everyone that's going to attend, but then again, you want them to come back, and you want like, how do you handle stuff like that? 'Cause I can't handle. I would be like, I'm freaking out. I'm like, guys, just you go. You're gonna come whether you like it or not. That would be my response. You would not respond that way. So how do you keep it together when you organize and stuff and like the dilemmas might happen like that, and it did. How do you tell us?
It always does.
Educate us.
I mean, you always plan it. You have a blueprint for it. You always plan it. You hire your staff. Um, you have certain goals monthly, and you know, 100% of the time, it doesn't go according to plan.
Okay.
There's no plan that was followed to the T or it happened to the T. I don't know of any plans by any people. There's always something that happens, you know.
Okay.
For example, I never cancel a festival. I don't like canceling a festival. The only time I've ever canceled a festival where I didn't have any choice was the pandemic. And that
Mm,
was the only time because uh, we were not allowed to do a big event at the hotel in a certain city or a state put out by the governors, except
mm,
in Florida and certain state. And they were very lucky during the pandemic because they still did their festival anyway. But not in
mhm,
California, not in Hawaii. You know, we couldn't do it, man.
mhm,
Um, So that's the only time I would cancel it, and people will understand that. The attendees will understand it's just a natural disaster. Now
Mhm.
there are certain things where you invite certain artists, and because they don't have working visa in the United States or in that certain country, and they're coming as a tourist, where they get turned back by the costume
Mhm.
again. That is out of your control, and you just have to be flexible. The thing about being an organizer is that you have to have plan B and plan C,
Okay.
or plan D, on what have you. You always have to have that. And I've been into many situations like this as an organizer, where I had to even implement plan D, you know. And the most important thing here is that the attendees are the most important. As in a festival, another thing that's important, and they have a place to dance to or dance at.
Mhm.
That's the most important. Another thing that's the most important is that the artists have a place to stay and they're well fed. you know when the artists are happy with their rooms and they're well fed, they're going to give it back 100%. They're going to social dance, and they're going to give it 100% when they teach the workshop. You treat them all that way.
Mhm.
Now there are occasions where certain organizers, and there certainly happens to me many times. I've been an organizer since 2008, where there were failures and there were successes. Now when there were failures, yeah, you come across that, and you have to deal with it independently, and you have to deal with it. It's like, okay, so what's my plan B? What's my plan C? What's my plan D? I want to
Mhm.
make sure that everyone is happy, and I want to make sure that nobody panics. You know, and so when that happened, there's so many things going on behind the scene that the attendees doesn't even know about, and they don't need to know, because again, your goal is, this is like a big house party, Roswell. Your
Mhm.
goal is for the house party to go on no matter what. You worry about it later. Okay,
Mhm.
so post festival, that's when you deal with people that you might owe money to,
Mhm.
or that people owes you money for,
Mhm.
that you need reimbursement for, anything, everything like that way. Because not every festival that's organized is perfect. Some people may predict, oh, we're going to have like 2,000. It doesn't always happen that way, you know.
Mhm.
Uh, but 80% of the organizers, in my opinion, are not in it for the money. I
Mhm.
think they're just very passionate about the dance. They're very passionate about the community. And so most of the time they lose money. And 80%, I rarely know people that I know that are really not in it for the money. If they're in it for the money, you could bet your bottom dollar that the attendees will know about it, and they're not going to come to that festival. Attendees go to the festival not just because their idols are there. It's because they believe in the promoter. They support the promoter's vision, and it's good for the community.
It makes me think. I'm sorry. Now I'm thinking here. I'm sorry. Like, you got me thinking here, bro. I do legal work. Everyone knows I do legal work. I review contracts.
Yeah,
But I dance in it. That's something beyond my knowledge. But you said something that's interesting here. They do it. Everything you said is interesting. They do it because they really love it, not for the money. I always thought, and here's where
yeah,
I apologize for being ignorant. There's early bird special, bro. Okay, it's a year from now. Check this out. It's a year from now. John Doe has an event. Early bird special. Everyone get the ticket now. A year from now is the event, but like 50 people, you guys get like $99 off or whatever. Okay, and then as the event comes closer, as the year comes, the price goes higher and higher and high. So, so this is the part I don't get though. If the price is going higher, then the organizer are benefiting as the event comes closer. That thing I don't get because if the price if you have an event a year from now and you advertise it, but after you and I talk, you're like everyone after okay, I'm done with my interview. The first 99 people are getting like $199 off. And then it's a year from now, a week before the event, and then I look up your Facebook and it said to get into this event, it's four times what it used to be a year ago.
350 or 400. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't get that, bro. So how? I mean, the organizers they are profiting when the price goes big. And why? And tell me this: why are they doing that? Every it gets higher every month and higher because they have what bills to pay. The real estate place people that owe them money. That you see, that's the thing I don't get the logic part.
All right, let me
I don't
explain
get
this to
that.
you. Let me explain the process. Okay, this is good because not too many people talk about this in an interview. Uh, I'm very transparent when it comes to organizing festival, and even the legalities of it. The early bird is a marketing ploy, not ploy. I'm not going to call it play. It's a marketing strategy to have people purchase. Now that's the first wave of profit. Okay, the reason we do that, and now it's 150. By the way, nobody sells $99 now after the pandemic. But the reason we do that is number one, after we sign the contract of the hotel, the venue, bro, you got
Mm,
2,500 deposit, or depending from 2,500 to $5,000 deposit. Okay.
mm, that's a,
After you sign that, you gotta shell out the money. Now, if
mhm,
you don't have that money, you gotta have a certain price where people are can't even resist because, oh my god, it's only 99. Let me buy it now because it's gonna go up.
mhm,
It's a
mhm,
sense of urgency.
mhm,
Okay, so now you're able to pay hotel.
mhm.
That's for the deposit. That's the first deposit among many.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
okay,
that's the
okay.
because you gotta realize. Okay, you sign the contract. First deposit is 5,000. You're paying part of the ballroom rentals. The
Mm.
ballroom rentals cost from 10,000 to $50,000
No way.
whole weekend. Yes, way. Uh, okay, so that's one. Now, how many artists are you hiring? Are you hiring 20 or 50? Guess what, Roswell? You have to buy flight on each one of them. Not just that, you have to book a room for 3 nights on each one of them. Now you do the math. You're talking 100,000 overhead, you know. So
Mhm.
this is part of the attendance doesn't know, and the artists themselves, if they're never an organizer, will not know where the promoter is coming from because the promoter is in hell during the festival because of the stress that he or she or they will be in because of this. Because, okay, so that one, the hotel, they're like car salesmen, they're like used car salesmen. They're going to charge you for every inch you got. If you do not include it in the contract specifically, even putting out chairs, even putting out tables there, even water station in the ballroom, they're going to charge you per hour. And that happened to me. That's the reason I tell you that. Uh huh.
Oh,
Now, they did it for me for the first 2 years. That's in Las Vegas, free. But then they found a loophole in the contract. Guess what? The third year they charging me tables, chairs, you name it, and I could not say anything because it was not specified in the contract. So because of this pressure, Roswell, we have to keep increasing the price to keep encouraging people to buy tickets. Again, the sense of urgency. It's
mhm.
got to be the sense of urgency. If we put a flat price, let's say, hey guys, the whole price is 350 full pass. There's no deadline. You could buy it at the door or you could buy it before the festival.
Yeah.
There's no festival that the festival is not going to happen because there's no money to spend for the advance expenses.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I
Now,
need to stop. I need to
would it
stop
be
like
are we
using.
still are
Mm.
we actually making money? Actually, if you think about it, 10% of the promoters make money and it's a hit or miss given in a certain year. All you need to know, Roswell, all you need to know if a promoter is making money, you look at their attendees, you look at how many artists they have,
Mhm.
and you look at how expensive the hotel is. That's when you'll know if they only have 50 people. It's like, oh my God, she lost her ass. You
Well,
would
that's
know.
that's what I wanted to ask you. That's this is a good time to lead into the next question. Um, it's a Saturday night, bro. I mean, sir.
Come You can call me brother.
I gotta get this straight.
You're
It's a
funny, dude.
Saturday night, Mr. Chata. It's a Saturday night. Okay, five of the top organizers on this world live within 5 miles radius within a major city, right? They're friends, they're amigos. They've been, they've known each
Yeah,
other maybe since 1997. Who knows?
yeah.
Okay, and you got John Smith here doing his stuff. Jane Smith doing her stuff. Rashid Smith doing her stuff. Edmund Smith doing his stuff. Naja Smith doing hers. And my point to you is that they invested, maybe like 10,000 here, 20,000 here, 40,000. We're talking about thousands, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They did the promo and blah blah blah. Okay, here's the problem. This is what bugs me. People like me, who's super cool, and I mean super cool. I have to decide: should I hang out here? Should I
Mm,
hang out here?
mm.
Should I hang out here? Should I hang out? So I ended up like going all of them in one night.
Oh my
And not
God,
only
yeah,
me, my friends and people from out of the state, and okay, so we all people decide to pop in, pop out, whatever. Okay, so it's 5 a.m. and I didn't get to dance with any hot chick at this guy's event because I had to take Uber to go to this event and hang out here for an hour, and then
right.
take Uber to go downtown, hang out at this event for 45 minutes, then go uptown, hang out with Uber, take Uber to hang out at this event for 5 hours. To make matters worse, it's Monday, right? And all these five people I run into, they
Yeah,
know me, they're Uncle Kumano to Bachata. And we talk, So I said, how was business? How was everything? Is, not good. Roswell, we made only like $5,000 because only 20 people showed up. And this person say, Roswell, we made like $20 because only one person showed up. And this
mm-hmm.
person say we made like $6,000 because I don't know, we just made it, and then the bottom line is that they invested more than I mean they put out more and not many people showed up. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that if this was a perfect world, wouldn't it make sense if these five people, if I can say, come together or collaborate and then split the profit instead of them doing it individually, and they do it over and over and over next week and next year. So somebody like me who doesn't really get it, I feel bad because I know if that was me and I'm dishing out all this money, I would want everyone from Cool Folks Who Love to Bachata to come because it's a lot that I invest for the hotel, for the dancers and stuff. I don't want just five people to show. I want them to come and stay, whatever. But
Yeah,
that's not going to happen. So my question to you is that, and you're the man to ask about this because you've been there, you've seen it, you've done it. How how can this stuff be? I can't say disappear, but how can it be avoided? And why does that? Is it machoism? It's a matter of pride. It's a matter of I don't know, but that doesn't make sense, right? And a Monday comes, and then they're going over their figures, and before you know it, they have to pay the DJ, they have to pay the hotel, they have to pay the insurance, and before you know it, they're only left with maybe like 150, $75,
yeah,
and they
yeah,
invested a lot. You know what I'm saying, bro? So
yeah.
how can
I,
organizers better
I
come
think I know
together?
what you're talking about, and
Yeah,
it depends. Ethically, in my opinion, it's wrong. Ethically, okay, it's not illegal. The thing is, one thing positive about that, though, in a certain city where there's so the community is big, right? When that happens, and those five people, organizers, actually they all packed a place on the same night on the same city. Man, that's a good sign for growth, right? That's great. The idea of what if they all gathered together and partner up. Unfortunately, I'm a psychologist, by the way. I got master's in psychology, and I before bachata, I used to do that, and I was on a third year for my PhD in psychology. What happened is I got invited all over the world for bachata, and I chose bachata, by the way. So that's another story. But anyway, partnership in this type of industry, and I'm speaking from experience, does not work, brother, because not everyone can be on the same page.
Mhm.
Two cannot be on the same page. They have certain goal, they have certain philosophy, they have different ones. It's also territorial. When
Mhm.
it comes to business, yes, a lot of people treat festivals, organizing festivals, 100% business. I'm not that.
Mhm.
I treat it 50% business. I treat it 50% passion and friends. I
Mhm.
treat my artists like my friends. I have a relationship with them and everything, and that's what makes the festival have a good vibe. If you
Okay.
don't treat it as business 100%, then the vibe. If you treat it 100% business, the vibe is not there. It's going to be robotic, you know.
Mhm.
Um, so it's also territorial. They want the pie and they don't want to share it.
Okay.
Now, if
Okay.
they know that the pie does not taste good when they went to that party, man, I could cook and bake a pie that's better than this. You know what? So it's a form of business competition who could do better.
Mhm.
It's not illegal, but for me, it's unethical. For example, if you do a an event, whether it's a weekender, whether it's a festival, whether it's a nightly concert. Let's say Romeo is having a concert at this club, and
Mhm.
then Prince Royce is having a concert 20 minutes away. That's not good because not only it divides the community. Again, we are for community, no matter what style we are. We are one community, and that's what makes it good, and that's what makes us grow.
Mhm.
But when you divide the community like that because of personal goals,
Mhm.
or because of selfish reasons, namely probably money, um,
Mhm.
then don't blame anyone when the community gets killed, meaning the growth stops
Mhm.
because of bad blood between promoters, and then they all talk shit about each other. Most
Mhm.
of them are made up because they want to win the competition. It,
Mhm.
God, I've seen so many times, even in the era of David Melendez and Albert Torres back in the day. My God, I've seen so many things like that. And
Mhm.
it's happening now, 2023, after the pandemic, because all of a sudden, all of these new promoters are springing up.
Mhm.
For me, that's good. I love it.
Mhm.
That means we have more passionate people, but we got to relax a little bit and make sure that we do not interfere with certain ways that are working. Let's create other ways so that we can grow instead of um, using and capitalizing on a community that you have not even built yet. Build your own other community, and maybe later on we can have a big Super Bowl. We can all. I mean, look, uh, in boxing world, bro,
Mhm.
different network, right? They can't get along. But then when
Mhm.
there's a big fight, whether it's Pacquiao or Mayweather,
Mhm.
they all gathered together because they knew the profit would be so big with collaboration, no matter how they hate each other, or no matter how competitive they are, they
Mhm.
still do it. And but that's what I meant.
Mhm.
So to get back to the questions, no, I don't get it, and no, I am not in that area to practice. A lot of artists has come to me before, like, hey, there's somebody there that doing a festival on the same day as you. It's like, and he's hiring me. It's like, I'm sorry, bro, I can't hire you because I have so much people. That artist told me, and he's from San Diego. It's like, well, even if you don't hire me, Rodney, I'm still not gonna teach for that person because it's the principle that's involved. I was like, whoa, dude. I was like,
Mhm.
now that's something that's rare, and I think that we should have more of that in our community because if we maintain this respect, because back in the day, Roswell, we
Mhm.
all chat with each other and we call each other, hey, Ava, are you doing an event on Saturday night? Because I have this idea that I want to do an event. It's like, oh, as a matter of fact, Rodney, I'm doing an event on Saturday night. Oh, okay. So let me look for other dates. How about this date? Is there anything happening there? Nothing. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead. You know what happens? My
Mhm.
God, Ava helped me promote it.
Mhm.
So that's
Mm.
there's plus and minuses, and when it comes to that, where it's convoluted, five promoters doing event at the same time, the same town, that is unacceptable. I'm sorry,
Mm.
because it kills the whole community and it divides.
Ava, I mean, I don't know if I know. I don't. Is
Ava
she?
Apple was my very first, one of my very first salsa teacher in the Bay Area, San Francisco.
Is she? She still? I mean, she's still. I mean,
She's
she
still
can go
teaching.
live with me. I mean, does she? Yeah, tell her
I
about
think
me,
she's a
please.
member of your group. I think I'm not sure.
She is.
Yeah, she goes by Ava Apple.
Oh my God,
That's
Ava.
the woman who told me, I was like, Rodney, you're dancing good salsa, but you're not dancing on time. Let me fix that.
I would love, yeah, yeah, yeah. I would love
Yeah,
to speak with her. You speak
yeah.
so honorable of her. Yeah, I would go. I mean, I could go live with her. That's not a bad idea. That's not a
You
bad idea.
should, because when you interview, talk to
Mm,
her um, about the pre salsa. Pre dance salsa was what's that disco thing? Hustle. The hustle
hustle.
before salsa.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
hustle. Yes, yes.
very experienced in that area.
Okay, that's interesting. Thanks for
Yeah,
sharing that with me. And it makes sense. I mean, like, back in the days, I'll be honest with you, things were like so much simpler. I mean, you can go up to your friend and say, okay, since today you're doing something, I'll do mine next week or
yeah.
next month. But it doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't go like that anymore nowadays, and that's why I get concerned, and that's why I bring this up
I
when
think
you
that
guys come
I
come
think
live.
that the courtesy. I think yeah, the courtesy, or what we call professional courtesy, is out of the equation now. But
Yeah,
it is what it is. Yeah,
yeah. It's and I feel bad for everyone because it's like, my job has. I mean, as most people know, my job is like to help all you guys.
yeah,
Not to choose like I'm going to go to
yeah,
this one or that one. Like
yeah.
to help everyone, and I do. I try to be neutral, and I help everyone re-promote their stuff over and over. And you see some of the posting. Some people post, the same thing over and over, and I'm like, and I'm sharing it over and over. I mean,
Yeah. I mean,
but
it is the way it is the way it is. And you know what? The attendees know anyway. If there's an established event already, and then all of a sudden there's this newbie that's trying to, I don't know what you call it, do it on the same day, or do it sabotaging it, whatever language you want to call it. The the attendees know, bro, and most of these attendees are really passionate about bachata or salsa also,
mm,
so they know where to go. I mean, it is the way it is.
mm,
But even the artists that you hire, or I hire, or they hire,
mm,
they also have a code of ethics. And some of them, most of them apply that code of ethics also. They would tell the promoter themselves, it's like, look, I can't do this because there's an event here,
mhm,
you know. And exactly this weekend, when I was I was hosting a certain workshop for a certain couple that are friends of
mm.
mine, that just happened to be in the Bay Area. I didn't even know that there was another event. Down. I canceled it. I canceled my event.
You did?
Yeah, I didn't know, when somebody sent me a link, and he was like, "My God, a day before or 2 days before that I've known about it." It's like, my God, I didn't know about this because I didn't even see the news feed in Facebook. Like, canceled it.
You're a
And
nice
they're not
guy.
even close friends of mine. I don't need, they're not even close friends of mine. But I know it's going to divide the community, so I didn't want to do it.
Well, let me ask you a stupid question. But when you cancel something like that, like what? I mean, do you get any of the money? I mean, do you get what happened to all that money that you invested and whatever? Do you get it? I mean, do you get anything
It's your
back?
loss. It's your loss. Yeah, you have to
Wow.
eat it. I tell you, Roswell, being a promoter is not. There is that stigma about the word promoter, and I don't like using it. A lot of
Mhm,
people do it say it as an organizer now and whatnot, but
mhm,
there's so many things that you have to do. Not just promoting. For example, Maui. We were just talking about Maui, right?
mhm,
And I have a weekend there on that Halloween, this Halloween coming up, and I was just, okay, I'm gonna invite a person from Japan, this and that.
mhm,
It didn't
mhm.
occur to me until last week. I was like, wait a minute. Some of my attendees that lives in Maui, our dancers, lost their homes, and because I am not usually big into fundraising because fundraising and then I give it to an organization. I'm sorry, Roswell, I do not trust them. So I don't do fundraiser. But
Okay.
it came to mind like, but we have this close to home. We have dancers that we know that attend congresses. How are we going to support them? And so, if you
Mhm.
can see my advertisement, it changed 100% profit goes to the dancers that lost their homes because I could not take it out of my mind, man. I was like on a guilt trip. It's like, Rodney, what are you doing? These are dancers that come to your festivals too. And it's like, wait a minute, they actually lost homes. I was like, we got to help them. So at least we know where it's going to.
100%.
Another job of a promoter that promoter should be doing, not just making.
I'm trying to think from the top of my head if I know of anyone that does. You're like the first of the first that That's nice of you. You're a nice guy.
And I don't have money, man. I'm losing money, but I have to do it because I have a home. I have food to eat. But what about the other dancers that lost their homes, that have kids? Think about that.
100%, bro. You're a
So I'm
nice
telling
guy.
people, it's like, hey, look, buy this ticket. If even if you can't attend, just make it as a donation. Just buy the full price as a donation. We're gonna make sure it goes to them, and we're gonna put out the list of the people that lost homes.
Do me a super big favor.
Yeah.
I want to come to California now and give you a big hug. That surprised me. I mean, I didn't. I don't. My first time meeting you virtually, I never. I don't really know you that well, but now I do. Oh my God. That I don't know many people that would do what you do. You're a nice guy. I
I
learned to
wasn't
talk to.
gonna do. I wasn't gonna do it for the very reason of I didn't know that most of our dancers were affected, and so I didn't want to do it for the reason of I've done this before and I didn't know where the money went. And then, but when Charito told me, and one of my partners in Honolulu, I was like, Rodney, some of these attendees attended your festival. I was like, holy shit. Brother, for a week, I could not take them out of my mind. Maybe the gods are telling me, you got to do this. Don't be selfish. You got to do this because at one point, at one time, they also gave you money by attending your festivals. So,
Um, I
yeah.
want you to share this on the Bachata Facebook. I know you shared one of you. I know you shared your event. I don't know if I reshared this one here that you're telling me about.
I'll send you the link,
Maybe,
bro.
yeah, I want you to. This time, I'm gonna. This is one of those things. When I mean, I prefer somebody to share it over and over and over and over. This is
Yeah,
one
this is
a good
close to
example.
home for us. For
This is.
us as a community of dancers, this is close to home.
You're such a good guy. Now I know why people love you. Such a
I
good
hope.
guy. You're a good guy. Oh my
I
God. Oh
love,
my
I
God.
love, I love the community, man. I love bachata. You already know you love bachata too. So and when we
Yeah.
love something, a community is built, and those are people too.
I'm not doing this for money. I just
Yeah,
want to let everyone know. I'm happy that we're bringing this up. I'm not doing this. I'm just doing this because I just love what I do,
yeah,
and these postings that everyone posts and everyone's like telling me Facebook, and everyone is telling me make a profit of all the postings everyone do. I said I could. I already got a first job, but I don't want to mix business with pleasure. This is, so hearing you tell me what you just said, it makes me feel proud of what I'm doing because
good.
you of all people can relate to why I'm
Yeah.
doing what I'm doing, even though to the world it does not make sense.
No,
But
you
to
should
me,
keep
it
what
makes
you're doing.
sense.
I like
You
your
know,
energy. I like your positivity, and you keep it up because you don't know this, but there are certain people in the world. There are certain people in America that you're making a difference. Look, the things that we do, and this is basically helping people, whether it's entertainment, doing
Mhm.
something like this, or whether it's informative, it's helping people. Look, if this is for me, Roswell, as a psychologist, this is my purpose in life to help people. Whether I'm teaching them how to dance,
Mhm.
I'm teaching them how to have self-esteem. I'm teaching them confidence. I'm teaching them how to heal. Maybe they're going through a divorce or something. That's why they have to know how to dance. We're here. this is my purpose in life.
Hmm.
I found this out um, probably about 10 years ago. Not until I
Okay.
realized it. I was like, whoa, this is my purpose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm happy you shared that. I mean, that we have a lot in common, bro. We have a lot in common. Spiritually, we do. We do. Okay. Okay. Let's see. I'm getting all the emotion here. Okay. Let me get it together here. Okay.
Are
So,
we becoming Barbara Walter session now? Come on.
yeah, like to my brother Walter. But okay. Children. Okay.
Yeah.
Children. That is something we got to talk about for a minute. When I was a kid, sir, I was like I was telling everyone a few. I mean, my family, my parents, they were like, oh, you gotta get the dance and stuff out of your head, or what, or you're gonna go to school and whatever. So I didn't even think about going up to my dad and say, I'm gonna leave home to become a professional dancer. But kids do that nowadays. Again, kids nowadays, they rebel. They're like, I'm gonna do it and blah blah blah. So I guess what I'm trying to ask, a child comes up to you, they look you in the eye, right, and they say, Mr. Chata, I am determined to become the next greatest dancer. And you look at them and you say, what is your response to the little one?
Give it all you got and do it 100%. If you can't
Okay.
do it 100%, don't do it. But if you want to be the greatest dancer in the world, you're going to give it 100%. And you go with what you like and that what's going to make you happy. Then again, if you get 100% right there, it's going to happen.
Okay. That's great. I'm just looking at you. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I just looking at you. I just want to,
you
I want
can't
to like
you can't
seriously.
you can't stop children and discourage them from what they desire.
Right, right, right.
There might, as a psychologist, there might be a tendency that when they become adult, they might change their mind, and that's okay.
Okay.
But the very first thing is not to discourage what they're excited about, especially if it's like goals. If it's like, I want to be like this, and all you need to tell them is like, this is great. Now you have to go through the process and you got to give it 100%.
Hmm.
And it's not it's not the end of the journey, Roswell. It's the journey itself that makes a person better. Because when you reach the end of the journey, you're basically saying it's like you don't even notice you've reached a journey, or it's like, huh? That's it. But it's the
Hmm.
journey where you learn all kinds of things, and for your benefit, for that matter. So yeah,
You're a teacher. You should teach like college, or so be like a counselor or something, or be
I
like a
used to
big
do it.
big
I
brother.
counseled. I counseled battered women for 7 years.
You did?
The first 2 years of my practice, I counseled disturbed children. And my personality, Roswell, I'm a very sensitive person. I'm a feeler. Yeah.
Okay.
And I could not take it. I brought it home. I could not take it.
Okay.
And at that time, I was one of the few that was a counselor for battered women. Usually it will be women that would counsel women. But I
Okay.
was one of the few, and it worked. I did it for 7 years. I was very happy, diverse. I was very happy doing it. And then there was a point where my mom told me, I was like, look, why don't you continue and pursue your psychology because that's your passion? Why don't you get a PhD? It's like, you know what, mom, I'm going to do it. And so I did. I have about 3 years. And then bachata was getting popular. And I was getting invited from left to right. And one of my bucket lists is to travel the world. And here was the opportunity where I don't have to pay for anything. And so
Mm,
I accepted it. I did that for 3 or 4 years. And then I became an organizer after that.
okay. Very interesting. Okay. I'm happy you're super smart because I'm doing my program in human services. I like to help people. I'm doing my
Yeah, that's it. That's
dissertation.
that's number one way you can help people in the human services for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing my dissertation. I'm doing. I took like a
What's your
few months.
dissertation on?
In honor of my dad who has Alzheimer's, I'm looking at patient care. I'm looking
Good.
at what the research question is, uh, what what do CNAs perceive as job satisfaction when they help their patient? Like, do they feel more motivated, less motivated? How do they feel? And they're not doing it for the money. So I'm looking at perception, motivation, job satisfaction of CNAs, certified nursing assistants, who take care of people at nursing homes. So I'm looking at patient care, you
Yeah.
know, and I finished the program, Mr. Chada. I'm doing my chapter three, my methodology. So
Good.
hopefully in November, I'm planning, November to continue. I just took a few months off because I had to write, you know, all that stuff. But I want to encourage you, and I'm happy you said that. And I encourage everyone, when you guys tell me about your education and how far you guys became, and God bless you. So I want to encourage you. You know, you're how much more longer, if you do you have for that program? Like how many more
2 more
years? Like,
years.
okay, is it possible for you to actually maybe do it online? I do mine online,
I mean,
on the side, just because you're so close and you're so super
I
smart.
know,
You're so
but
close.
look at this generation now, brother. I mean,
So
look at this
close.
generation. Degrees are not important as much as anymore. I already have masters.
Yeah,
Um,
you're smart. I know
and
you're
I'm
smart.
already helping people. And what's PhD gonna do to me? I mean, unless I work in the universities and everything, and I don't desire to work in the universities. So I would put my time somewhere else. I already got a degree.
Okay.
Uh, in this generation, I already told you, God, there was a time where the degrees and the certificates were like the holy grail. We put them in
Yeah.
the wall and everything else. We're so
Yeah.
proud of it, but things change and things evolved,
Yeah.
and and you could tell, even the most successful people in the world doesn't even have degree. So there is that. So at that time, I was excited about it. I even my dissertation was going to be based on distance analysis, meaning
Cool.
if I see you, Roswell, you're a block away from me drinking coffee. I'm going to analyze you based on your action, based the way you hold your coffee. That was my dissertation, but
I love that. That's a good topic. That's a
yeah,
good
yeah.
topic. Now you can analyze dancers or organizers the same thing.
I do. Sometimes I do it automatically. I don't even. I don't even realize it, but I do.
One of the reasons I still do the PhD stuff, you got an excellent point. It's not like it used to be back in the days, but one of the reasons I do it is there's a lot of time I want to drop out. I'll be truthful with you. Like, you have no idea. I just want to keep dancing and dancing. But psychologically, what stops me, I think about my dad and the promise that I made. And I'm like, before he lost his mind, I'm like, yeah, that's the last thing I'm going to do for, just do the school stuff. So,
you know.
um, that's the main reason I'm doing. Not because I want to boast about that I'm super smart and blah blah.
Yeah.
I'm just doing it for like personal reason. Not I'm going to get a job in human services. I'm going to
Oh, I
get like
did it. Don't get me wrong, bro. I did it for a personal reason. I became a psychologist because my sister is bipolar.
Oh,
And at that time, actually, she's not bipolar per se. Well, she's kind of, and then schizophrenic at the same time. My sister was diagnosed bipolar, and as a young one, I could not understand what she went through because I knew her before bipolar.
okay.
And we were hanging out and everything, and she was so charismatic, and then snap. And I could not understand it, and I hated her for it, and I
Mm,
hated it for it. And so I became a psychologist to figure out what the heck happened.
okay.
How do you go around this? How do you do this? And my PhD was based on cognition, brain, and behavior, CBB, and it touched on that a lot. And Now I found out she's schizophrenic. She was taking the wrong medications that effed her up over the years. Now that should make you mad, right?
Yeah.
Do you know how many people get misdiagnosed? The percentage of people get misdiagnosed every year in the United States alone is 40%.
I know. My dad is one of them.
Yeah, and they're given wrong medication, man. So yeah,
You are very educational, man. There's more to this. Oh my God. This is the main. This is one of the main reasons I wanted to bring you and all of you
yeah.
guys live with me. There's more to you guys than just your postings and dancing
Oh
and your
yeah, you'd be
communication.
surprised.
You guys have you guys have a world, another world besides dancing, and this is the main reason why I'm doing live with this. I'm not doing this for publicity. I'm not doing this for money. I'm not doing this for rating. I'm not
Yeah.
doing this because I have nothing to do on a Monday night. But this is what you just said. Prove it because I just learned more about you, and I before that I just thought you were in Hawaii dancing.
Well, I'll learn more about you too. So
You know what I'm saying? So this is
yeah,
educational. This is an
yeah.
educational and hell with all of those people who are criticizing me for going over my hour and not talking about the
No,
fame and
these are
beauty and stuff. This is not one of those like those like Jerry Springer or like I'll beat this guy more and get the ratings up and no, it's not one of those shows. This is cool man who loves the bachata.
it's
Okay,
funny, Russell, because a lot of people. I mean, nowadays the technology. My God, when you go to school right now, you guys have it easy now. These kids have it easy because of the technology, doing their homework, writing essays, research. My God, they got it so easy. They don't have to go to a library, you know. Um, and it's funny because you would be teaching a student, and there's what I got to tell you a funny story here. I was in Orlando, Florida. I was invited by Christian Solo to teach a workshop there,
I
and then
love
I
it.
was teaching. I was teaching a workshop that was years ago, and then one of my students in the Bay Area, from the Bay Area, is there. It's like, George, what are you doing here? It's like, I'm following you. It's like, you're taking my workshop here? Yeah. When did you fly? Just about an hour ago. I was like, what airlines? They're like, it's my own plane.
Uh, uh,
Oh, okay, my bad. See, you never know, right? You never know.
uh,
So yeah,
And just so you everyone know, Christian Sola, he did come on live with me at the beginning of this year. He did a great job because he talked
yeah.
about like mental health and he talked about dancing and so we were chatting for like a long time and the interview just flowed and flowed and flowed. So Christian, he was good. He did a great job, talking and educating us about mental health and stuff. And
I like
you
Christian Solo's principle. He's a principled man. That's all I can say.
know. Bro, okay, so before you go, um, I know you have to go work out,
Yeah.
pump up that, look all pretty for the girls on the dance floor, get that
Trying, man,
chest
trying.
going, get the veins popping. So I don't want to
Yeah.
keep you from your workout, but you got to tell us about your events coming up,
Okay.
please.
Well, this year, what's left is that fundraiser that I was talking to you about, which is the Hawaii Dance Weekender on Halloween weekend. It's going
Mhm.
to be a 2 day, Saturday and Sunday. It's going to happen in Honolulu at Aloha Dance Sport.
Mhm.
And if you guys want to donate or buy a pass as a donation, you could
Mhm.
do that at hidxinfo.com/shop. Now, next year, my God, I got 5 festival Roswells. I got one in Vancouver in February, vancouverdanceexpo.com, and then one on Roswell. You gotta attend. It's gonna be in New York, man.
New York.
Yeah, it's gonna be the first weekend of May. Actually, not the first weekend of May. It's the last weekend of April. It's called New York Bachata Expo. Oh, Roswell, you gotta go, man.
Um, I should
It's
be.
uh, it's on it's on it, it's in the Times Square area.
Really?
Really,
That's
yeah.
where the New York Salsa event was on Labor
Yeah,
Day
they have
weekend.
they're doing it in the other hotel too. Yeah, and then of course
Hmm.
July I have my 16th anniversary of San Francisco Bachata Festival.
Hmm.
That's the iconic one. And then Hawaii Bachata, oh Hawaii International Dance Expo happens on next year of November Halloween. It's October Halloween. Uh, Very big people coming in, and then Las Vegas. That's the fifth one. November. That's it. That's
Las
enough, man.
Vegas. When you say Las Vegas, I think about Suave Beats because he's like, the king of Las
No, he's
Vegas.
part of it.
Suave Beats.
Suave Beat is a good friend of mine. He's gonna come to New York to DJ for me on that event. So you guys get to hang out or something.
He's great. He's great. I love. He went live with me twice, and he's so funny. His responses to my postings are like so funny. He's very entertaining. He's a
He
nice
was
guy.
when he was just coming up. I gave him an opportunity to DJ at my at one of my festival, and that's how he started.
Oh, that's nice of you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, not to toot my horn, but I've helped a lot of people start their career, whether it's teaching or DJing, or even promoting for that matter. I'm not gonna name names, but there are certain people running festivals there, and they
Mhm.
that used to be my festival, and I gave it to them.
Oh my God, you're such a good man.
I'm not gonna name names.
No, 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 no. I don't want to be like, Roswell, what are you doing here? But you're a giver. You're one of those people. I get the impression about you. I'll leave the interview with this. You're more of a giver than a receiver.
Yeah, for
More of
some
a giver,
reason,
which is,
man, when I
yeah,
give, when I help people, I
mhm.
feel good about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You do it unconditionally, and that's the reason I kind of do what I do. And you and I, we're on the same level, man. We and I are on the same level. Um, okay, how would you like to leave? What are some final words? What's the takeaway here before you sign off or before we sign off?
I think the takeaway is we have this evolving technology for us as dancers, as passionistas for the dance, whether it's salsa or bachata, we have to go along with it.
Mhm,
And with our principle, with our philosophy, we could go along with it. We don't have to be left behind. Don't be left behind from the evolving technology or the evolving dance world. It's always going to evolve. Every year we have no choice. It's going to evolve. Two
mhm,
choices: we get left behind and stay where we are, or we go along with the flow.
mhm.
I'd like to choose to go along with the flow, because as we go with the flow, we still keep helping people, and that makes a lot of difference, to be honest. So let's keep helping people.
That's fabulous. That's fabulous. You're a good man, and I sincerely mean it. I mean, before it was like whatever, you're cool, but you're sincerely a good man. Based upon everything you said, and this live interview was very deep. It was very deep.
Yeah, we got deeper there, didn't we?
Yeah, so deep. I was getting like emotional. I had to get myself together because I'm live. But you're a good man. You're very educational, super educational. People can learn a lot from you. The next generation can learn so much, so much, so much about dancing, and not only bachata, but dancing in general. You're a role model. You're an inspirator. You're a leader, right? You're a leader. So that's great. That's great. And you're someone that is very easy to approach, and you're someone that people can trust. I get that impression. I'm not a psychic. Trust me, I'm not. But I can feel people's energy. I can just, whether I'm in front of them, live or whatever. You're one of
You're
those
you're
people who
you're a
just,
feeler too, huh?
trust me, I am. I can feel. I can look at someone and say, you know what,
Yeah.
you know. Okay. Well, anyway, it was good talking to you. So please, uh, share the posting, please. That's great. And and anything else you would like to share, you know. And yeah, I'm planning to go back to Georgia in November with my mom,
Got it.
because every winter we go down south, and then springtime we come back here. So I should be back. I should be back in time for the New York stuff. But if you are down south for the winter, let me know. If you're in Florida or Georgia, we'll probably meet up for the winter. But thank you so much for everything that you do, and I appreciate you. And feel free to come back next year, and when I do this again next year in 2024, live. It would be great to have you back.
Thank you, Roswell. Appreciate it. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, man. And that hat, remember, when I see you in New York, bring one for me too. I love it. You just have that Brooklyn. I mean, you know, you have that, you have that Brooklyn, you know. So anyway, sign up. Go to the gym. I know you got to go work out.
All
And
right.
all right. Have a good night.
Thank
Peace.
you, sir.
Okay.